since you've clicked on the video, I assume you're here to become the next King of Cash. With my personally tested and curated list of tips and tricks, you will be able to become one in no time. Starting off with one of the most important ones that's a very small detail and easy to miss. You can tell at a glance how a bundle is actually set. The color of the tape on it lets you know what it's bundled in. If it's white, it's a mixed bundle. Gold is hundreds, 50s are red, blue is 20s, and 10s are green. However, which makes your life much easier because you never want to have in your organized stacks white bands, because that just means that you have no idea how much money is in there. You might be asking, how do I know how much money is in one of the other packs? Quite simple. With this number right here. Like a full band is a band of hundreds, and I highly recommend you only store them in hundreds. On the cash sorter, you see this green icon over here is blank. It's like before you start sorting, unless you don't care, which I highly recommend you should, hit this green button right here, and it will set what value you're actually sorting. Once you're done sorting, if you have any remaining that isn't a stack of 100, put it in its own pile off to the side somewhere. If you're interested in finding the specialty bills, you are given one at the start on the shelf, I think. If you're interested in collecting more of them, once you unlock the scanner, it makes your life much easier. Because I have no idea if any of these has a special bill, but if I just click and hold, it says that I have a collectible money somewhere doing a scan. But if I erase that scan and look at something, it'll automatically scan the contents of that container. And make sure that you do that, because the money counter doesn't care if it's a collectible money. It'll stack a piece of collectible money into a stack. While on the topic of scanning, if you look at a stack, the scanner will actually tell you what setting you can wash it on. Soft mode, which is half the time of hard mode. One big thing is don't trust the scanner when it says down there with this one that there are no counterfeit bills in it, because which, as you can see, is counterfeit. And when I add it to here, the scanner still says that there are no counterfeit bills in there, despite the fact that I have added a counterfeit into it. Easiest way to be able to get items out of these big bags that would have like several stacks of items is that you can swap rotation, and if you turn it upside down, it will automatically just dump everything that's inside of it. As you can see from dumping everything on the ground, I now have a whole bunch of piles all over the place. You can grab it all at once. If you have a full bundle in your hand, you just have to hold your right click to push it out and swoop. However, you can't put all of this into the dryer at once, because the dryer will only accept 300 bills, which is what is supposed to be a single stack. But you can actually force more bills into the stack than what it should allow you. All you have to do is bundle the money, and you can take all of this into this. And now that it is full to the brim full of wrapped money, upon washing it, it will instantly unpack all of the bills in there. Look at this huge mound of wet money we have. It'll take forever to dry, right? Wrong. Because the dryer doesn't actually care how much money you put in it. It'll dry all of it just the same. Make sure you pay attention to the requirements when ordering a mission, because if a mission says no counterfeit bills, then there is a very high likelihood that in that box there are going to be several counterfeit bills inside of it. Likewise, if a mission says it only wants one type of bill, it is likely to give you a large amount of said type of bill. Then generally one of the easiest methods to deal with a bunch of money normally is with the shopping cart. And the shopping cart definitely has its uses, but be very careful with the shopping cart, because if you put in like even a single bill of dirt or dirty or wet money, it will suddenly turn every single bill in that cart, and maybe also boxes and other containers. Turn every single bill in there, wet and dirty. Don't include any bullets into adding that into the cart, because even a single bullet, as you saw, will make the entire cart dirty. A way to be able to check if some of the bills are counterfeit or not is to just run it through the money counter with the UV light shining on it, and you can just watch for that blue band on the bills. And if you see a blue band show up in the stack that you're making, it is if it doesn't have a blue band, it is a counterfeit. It also works great as an easy way to see if it has if it's a marked bill. And of course, if that's too much for you, if that's too fast for you, you can always just use the money gun to be able to very easily spread out the money. Should you need it to be nighttime to use the UV, or you want it to be daytime because it's a bit dark, you can come up and use any of the chairs, and you can sit down and start passing the time to this lovely music. Once you have a nice large stack of counterfeits like I have here, don't just toss all of them into the furnace, because instead you should have a box off to the side somewhere. Either have a different box for each denomination, or just have one big box to shove them all into. And you can for the missions that want counterfeit bills, or simply to give it to missions that don't specifically say no counterfeit bills. However, you do lose the bonus for no fake bills. The same goes with the marked bills. Just have those off on a side to the side in a box as well. While this is going on and sorting through the big stack of bills, I'll go ahead and go on to the best tip. To make sure that you guys leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment on any other tips that you found. Honestly, this might be an easier method than that might be easier than using the work table for sorting stuff out. Is that you can hold it out with right click and press X to drop singular bills, and it will drop whatever that top bill is. So the easiest way to deal with counterfeits is to have a setup like this. And also the easiest way to deal with a giant money blob. And you can just have it, and you can chain the money counter stuff together so that they all chain together, so you can just get the machine running. And then once it is done, go in, hit it with the pack. The money falls, immediately starts back up again. Say that you have a bag that has a bunch of collectibles in it, but also has a bunch of trash in it. You don't have to worry about trying to pick them singularly. What you can do is that and this is very important, because if you do this wrong, you lose it. Is that you just pick up the contents of the bag and toss them into a furnace, because non-cash collectibles won't melt, it won't burn away. And then you can just press this button to retrieve it back. And this is the missing box. However, if you toss the whole bag in there, the whole bag in there without taking the stuff out, it will look something like the bag and all of its contents will burn. If you have a stackable item already in your inventory, when you pick it up, if you store it, it will automatically get added into that stack. However, money won't automatically stack if you store it into your inventory. And I hope you all found all of the tips and tricks I have picked up helpful. If you have any that I didn't mention or I don't know about yet, feel free to tell me down in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time.